what technical basics help LLMs crawl and interpret your website correctly? Most LLM experiences rely on the same underlying web infrastructure as search. So we're talking about here crawling, right? So when the bot comes and detects the pages and is able to see the content, right? Indexation, when they're able to get that information and put it inside in Google or search engines will be the index, right? With LLMs, it's the tokenization. And rendering, right? They can actually render the content on the page and then derive the information. If a page isn't indexable or can't be read easily, it's hard for any system to use it as a source. Well, of course, if they go to the page and technically are limited to seeing the content, right, then they will definitely not add it to their model, and therefore you'll also not get a citation as well. There are several common technical blockers which impede LLMs from seeing the content in the first place, right? The most common is the robots.txt, where the website manager might decide to block the agent, right, from accessing the page itself. And we saw this a lot when the LLMs started appearing, like 2-3 years ago, and websites wanted to block the content because they were afraid that the LLMs would then own the information, they would not get referenced, they will not own the content anymore, right? So many websites and companies at that point decided to block it, right? And now it's 2026, and this is not a great idea because more and more customers are using the LLMs, right? This is now a source of traffic and information. So that's definitely something that you have to fix, right? Another thing that we've seen, I think it was the end of 2025, that certain CDNs, for example, Cloudflare, they would have default settings to block LLMs bots, right? Especially for new customers. So again, make sure you go to your CDN and check if they are blocking the agents or not, right? Again, this is a very important one. With LLM Optimizer, you would see this as a 4 of 4s, right, on the agentic traffic. So if you were to go to the agentic traffic, you would see that the success rate would be less. Let's say it would be, you would get several 4 of 4s, right? So again, LLM Optimizer would show you this as there. And there is definitely several other aspects, for example, inconsistent canonicals, right? Having several parameters in the URL that basically you spend your crawling resources, right? The budget in SEO, but the same is with the bots, and therefore they might not see valuable content. And AI systems also struggle with content behind, again, login, paywalls, heavy interstitials, because they can't behave like a normal logged-in user, right? So this is also true for SEO, right? But there are some, let's say, advanced features that you could work around this. And I believe one of the biggest limitations, and what we've seen with our customers, is the lack of client-side rendering, right? With SEO, at least in the last a year or two, Google has been very good at rendering the JavaScript, right? But with LLMs, it's still a major factor, and they do limit it quite a lot. So what happens is, when the LLMs come to a website, they don't actually run the JavaScript. They don't actually parse the information that would come from this rendered version. This is a very big limitation, and we've seen this a lot. And we can see with LLM Optimizer, we do have the recover content visibility opportunity, and this tries to address this. So what we do here is we render the user page, right, what the user would see, and we do a word count, and then we compare it to the LLM version. And here you can see that we have a 72% visibility, meaning that only 72% of that content of this page is actually visible by the LLM. You can go into detail and see exactly what content is being rendered and not, right? And we have a feature called Optimize on the Edge, where you would be able to, with a simple click of the deploy optimization button on the top right, we would get the rendered version of the page, right? Because again, we went to your page, we rendered it, and we cached it, and we would give this to the user agent for the LLMs. And as a result, then the visibility will go from, let's say, 72% to 100%, right? It's a very quick win. I highly recommend, if you do have issues with this, to implement this feature. And of course, you could do this with your website manager and then try to fix the content on the page, right? But From my own experience, again, I started my career as a website manager. I know how hard it is to update this technology, right? You need resources, you need time, right? You need tickets, and it could take several months depending on how complex the modules are, right? So in this case, it is a click of a button. You would see the impact quite quick, right? And then you also have data to validate, right? To go to your development team and say, hey, look, if we fix this, overall on our website, we could see X improvement, right? So this is why we have Optimize on the edge. And we do also have a Chrome extension. You can go to llmo.page and see it. And this is the Chrome extension. You can just add it. And when you go to a page, you would click on the Chrome extension, and it would give you the same report, but on your browser. And you would be able to see exactly what is not being seen, right? And again, highly recommend you add this Chrome extension. It will give you some validation, especially now. And yeah, so those are some of the limiting factors that limit LLMs from seeing the content on the page.